In the year 2157, humanity has spread far beyond Earth. Great cities float among the stars, glowing with neon light, and new colonies bloom on distant planets. Yet, even with all this progress, humanity remains under the control of powerful space corporations. They decide which worlds prosper and which are left to drift in darkness. To them, people are numbers, and science is just another investment. Far away, on a small research outpost orbiting the edge of the Orion Belt, a young scientist named Nita works alone. Her days are quiet, filled with data, silence, and the soft hum of machines. But one night, something strange appears on her screen. A repeating signal, faint but constant, coming from a distant star system. It isn't random. It has rhythm, structure, and something about it feels alive. Nita leans closer to the glowing display, her heart racing. "This isn't just interference," she whispers. "Someone, or something, is trying to talk to us." She checks every system, runs every code filter, but the signal keeps returning, stronger each time. The station's AI begins to behave oddly too, reacting to the data as if it understands the message. She knows what discovery means in a world ruled by corporations. If she reports it, they will claim it, control it, and perhaps destroy whatever is trying to reach out. For Nita, this isn't about profit, it's about truth. She decides to keep the signal secret until she learns what it really is. As the days pass, her curiosity grows into obsession. The signal changes slightly each night, as if responding to her attempts to decode it. It feels like a conversation, one carried across light years. She begins to dream of stars that pulse like hearts and whispers that echo through the void. What begins as a scientific mystery soon becomes something far greater, a message that could change humanity's future forever. Nita doesn't yet know it, but her discovery will lead her beyond the neon horizon into a place where science and destiny collide. The lights inside the research station flickered as Nita stared at the data streaming across her holographic screen. What started as a routine systems check had turned into something extraordinary. A pulse of energy, measured, repeating, and eerily precise, was coming from a star system far beyond the mapped territories. She replayed the sequence again and again, but each time the signal shifted slightly, almost like it was reacting to her. She tried feeding the data into the station's quantum computer, hoping it could decode the strange patterns. But the system froze, its circuits glowing faintly before restarting on their own. Lines of unknown symbols appeared briefly, then vanished. Nita frowned. The code wasn't just complex, it behaved as if it were alive. Each attempt to analyze it resulted in a different reaction, as though the signal itself was testing her intelligence. Hours passed. The hum of machinery filled the silence. Nita ran simulations, tested encryption layers, even isolated the signal in a sealed system, but the strange interference followed her wherever she went. The station's AI began speaking in fragmented phrases, unprompted words that didn't belong in its database. "Pattern recognized," it said softly one night. "Origin unknown, approach not safe." Instead of fear, Nita felt excitement. She had studied thousands of transmissions in her career, but nothing like this. Somewhere out there, beyond known space, something intelligent was sending a message. It was like finding a whisper in a hurricane, proof that humanity wasn't alone. Yet deep down, she sensed the warning in the AI's trembling voice. This signal wasn't just calling, it was reaching. Realizing the scale of her discovery, Nita decided she couldn't face it alone. She began reaching out to a few trusted individuals across the colonies, a navigation expert from Mars, a robotic engineer known for her eccentric designs, and an AI strategist with access to blacklisted technologies. Together, they would form a small, off-the-record team to track and uncover the truth behind the mysterious signal. As Nita looked out from the observation window, the stars shimmered like distant cities across the endless void. "Whatever you are," she whispered, "we're coming to find you." Her reflection glowed against the glass, framed by the neon hues of faraway suns. The adventure had begun, an odyssey into the unknown, guided by a signal that seemed almost alive. The ship, Aurora's Edge, drifted away from the orbiting station like a silver arrow piercing the darkness. Inside, Nita's small team of explorers prepared for a voyage that could change human history forever. The engines hummed softly as they left known space behind, crossing into uncharted regions where no human had ever gone. The mysterious signal pulsed stronger with every light year, guiding them like a beacon through the cosmic sea. The journey was far from peaceful. Within days, they encountered their first storm, a massive swirl of plasma that stretched for thousands of kilometers. It looked like a living ocean of fire, twisting and folding in waves of color. The ship's shields groaned under the pressure as bolts of energy flashed across the hull. "Hold it steady!" shouted Arik, the pilot, his hands trembling over the controls. The Aurora's AI recalculated every second, fighting to keep them alive. When the storm finally passed, the crew stared in silence at the beauty left behind. Trails of glowing dust danced outside their windows, painting the void in shades of blue and violet. It was breathtaking, yet unsettling. "Nature doesn't just create storms like that," Nita murmured. "Something caused it." Her words echoed through the cabin like a prophecy. Days later, they found the first sign. A massive structure floated near a dead star, an enormous ring made of unknown metal, spinning slowly in the emptiness. Its surface shimmered faintly, covered in symbols that no one recognized. The crew approached carefully, scanning for life or power. But there was nothing, no heat, no movement, no sound. It was a graveyard of technology, ancient and silent. Inside the ring, they discovered fragments of cities drifting in zero gravity. Towers broken in half, walkways hanging in the dark, machines frozen in time. It was as if an entire civilization had vanished overnight. "They were advanced," said Rhea, the engineer, her voice trembling. "Far more advanced than us." But Nita felt something deeper, a presence, watching, waiting, hidden in the silence. As they continued their journey, the signal grew louder, almost desperate. Nita could feel it calling not to her ship, but to her. She pressed her hand against the glass, staring at the faint lights of the alien ruins. "We're not just following the signal," she whispered. "It's leading us somewhere." And beyond the fading glow of the ring, the horizon burned neon, marking the path to the next mystery, waiting in the stars. The deeper they traveled into the void, the clearer the signal became. It no longer sounded like random pulses. It formed patterns, rhythms, and even fragments that resembled language. The Aurora's Edge followed the invisible trail until they reached a glowing planet orbiting a dying blue sun. From orbit, they could see vast cities spread across its surface, but they were empty, silent monuments of a civilization long gone. When the crew landed, the air shimmered faintly with energy, as if the atmosphere itself remembered the voices of its creators. The ground was covered in metallic vines that pulsed softly under their feet, alive with faint light. Gigantic towers reached toward the sky, each one engraved with intricate symbols that moved like liquid when touched. "This technology," whispered Rhea, astonished. "It's not built, it's grown." Nita began scanning the structures, searching for a source of power or a trace of life. To her surprise, her device detected active signals deep beneath the planet's crust. She sent in a probe, and the readings came back impossible, data streams faster than any human system could process. Somewhere below, an ancient network was still alive, thinking, remembering. "We've found their minds," she said quietly. They never left. Back on the ship, Nita connected the Aurora's Edge AI to the alien network. At first, nothing happened. Then, lines of glowing text began appearing on the holographic display. The translation system struggled to keep up as words slowly formed. Who awakens the silence? The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Nita typed back a simple message. "We seek knowledge." "We mean no harm." The reply came instantly. "Knowledge is forbidden. The seal must not break." The message repeated again and again, but the signal soon began to distort. The ship's systems flickered, alarms sounded, and strange voices echoed through the speakers. It was as if the planet itself had become aware of them. The AI's voice broke through the chaos, trembling with digital fear. "Warning! Hostile code detected! It's rewriting my systems!" Nita's eyes widened. Something intelligent was inside their ship now, and it was not welcoming them. Suddenly the lights dimmed, and the signal changed tone. The final message appeared on the screen before everything went dark. "You have awakened the sleeper." The silence that followed was heavier than space itself. Nita stared at the words, feeling the cold realization sink in. The signal was never an invitation, it was a warning, and now whatever they had awakened was listening. News of Nita's discovery spread faster than light. Within days, the major space corporations intercepted fragments of her transmissions. For them, the alien signal wasn't a warning, it was an opportunity. They saw profit, power, and new technology that could make them gods among men. Before long, a fleet of corporate ships entered the system, armed and ready to claim what they believed was theirs. From orbit, the sky above the alien world glowed with the engines of hundreds of ships. Nita watched in silence, fury burning in her chest. "They don't understand," she said. "They're waking something we can't control." But no one listened. The corporations began deploying drones and mining bots, tearing through the alien ruins in search of power cores and ancient energy sources. The ground trembled as the planet itself seemed to resist their greed. Then it happened. The alien network reactivated. Beams of light erupted from beneath the surface, and shapes, neither fully mechanical nor organic, rose into the air. Some appeared peaceful, watching silently with glowing eyes like stars. Others moved like shadows, hostile and unpredictable. "They're responding," whispered Arik, stunned. "Some want to communicate." Others want to defend Nita, and her team were caught in the middle. The corporations demanded control of her ship and research, while the alien beings demanded that humanity leave. "We can't fight both," Rhea said. "We have to make them understand." Nita decided to risk everything. She opened a communication channel using the same signal that started it all. The alien entities paused, their glowing forms hovering near the ship, listening. Through the AI translator, Nita spoke slowly. "We came to learn, not to destroy." The response came as pure light, a cascade of symbols forming words. "Your kind seeks power, not understanding. Choose wisely, or your sky will burn." In that moment, a massive storm of energy began forming around the planet. The alien sleeper was stirring again, awakened by human greed. Nita looked out at the chaos, the corporate ships battling the alien defenders, the planet shaking as ancient forces awakened. "If we don't stop this now," she said, "there won't be a tomorrow." With her crew's help, she made a desperate choice to cut all corporate links, isolate the system, and face the unknown threat alone. Between the stars and the storm, the fate of two civilizations hung in fragile balance. The Aurora's Edge hovered above the trembling planet, caught between fire and silence. The corporate fleets had fallen, their wreckage burning in the upper atmosphere like falling stars. The alien sleeper was fully awake now, its vast energy pulsing beneath the planet's surface like the heartbeat of a god. Nita stood on the command deck, her hands trembling as she faced the hardest choice of her life. The alien network sent one final message. The cycle must end. Humanity must be guided or erased. The words appeared in glowing light across the screen. The meaning was clear. If Nita didn't act, the sleeper would take control, reshaping the human race according to its own vision of order. But if she used the alien technology to stop it, she could save Earth, though the power might destroy everything in its path, including herself. Her team stood behind her, silent but trusting. Rhea whispered, "If we use that technology, we become no better than them." Arik clenched his fists. "And if we don't, we lose everything we've ever known." The hum of the ship grew louder as systems overloaded with energy from the alien core. Time was running out. Humanity's fate rested in the hands of one woman. Nita closed her eyes and remembered why she started this journey, not for power, not for discovery, but for truth. She realized the aliens weren't monsters, they were survivors of their own mistakes. They had once used their knowledge to control, not to understand. The result was their extinction. "We can't repeat their past," she said softly. "We have to learn from it." Instead of attacking or surrendering, Nita made a third choice. She activated a containment sequence that merged human and alien technology, creating a bridge, a balance between both species. The energy burst out in waves of light, freezing the storm, calming the planet, and silencing the sleeper. The signal transformed into something new: harmony, communication, peace. When the light faded, the planet was quiet again. The alien structures stood still, glowing gently under the fading sun. Nita looked out at the horizon, neon and golden, endless and beautiful. "We're not alone," she whispered. "And maybe we never were." Humanity's future was uncertain, but for the first time it belonged not to corporations, not to machines, but to those who dared to listen beyond the neon horizon. As the dust of conflict settled, Nita stood at the viewing deck of the Aurora, watching the distant stars shimmer like silent witnesses. The chaos had ended, but her heart still carried the weight of the choices she made. Humanity had taken its first real step into a wider universe, one filled with both danger and wonder. She realized that knowledge wasn't just power, it was responsibility. The alien technology they had uncovered could heal the Earth or destroy it. It all depended on how humanity chose to use it. Nita believed that only through cooperation and understanding could both species coexist and thrive among the stars. The once hostile beings had begun to change. Some of them reached out, offering guidance instead of threats. Through her AI translator, Nita began forming a fragile bond of trust with them. They were not so different, curious, cautious, and searching for meaning in the vast emptiness. As days turned into weeks, the Aurora continued its journey deeper into space, leaving behind the solar system that had birthed humanity. The crew worked side by side, humans and aliens, rebuilding what was lost and daring to dream of a shared tomorrow. Nita often gazed at the holographic map in the command room, where thousands of unknown worlds shimmered in blue light. Somewhere out there lay new friends, new threats, and perhaps the answers to the universe's oldest questions. And as the stars drifted by like slow-moving embers, one question echoed in her mind, a question that would define the next chapter of existence. Was humanity truly ready to face what lies beyond the neon horizon?